From Pecetto, Italy, welcome to the GCN Show.
Welcome to the GCN Show.
Coming up this week, 5 reasons why Dan thinks that long rides are but why they're not.
According to you,
yes.
At least. We've also got the best ever hacks and the worst ever bodges from the GCN app, a load of used pro bikes and kit that are up for auction, cycling news from COP28.
Is there any?
Just about.
Nice.
There's a new big money Zwift event and some brand new 2024 protein kits. This week in the world of cycling, we learned that the bike industry crisis has got so bad, one major brand has currently got a buy one, get one free offer on bikes.
That is absolutely madness.
It's crazy.
But head over to Kona for a free bike if you want one.
Oh God. We also learned that the UCI is coming, this time for your brake levers.
That's right. Bring on another ban. No more turned-in brake levers now. No more super aero, super narrow hand positions. Although, apparently, this is something that has the support of the majority of riders and manufacturers.
I also spotted another UCI ban last week. This time it was the Belgian rider Maxim van Gils. He hit another rider over the head in a sprint finish, and at the time he got a paltry fine. But he's now getting a 25-day ban from the UCI, which will start in mid-January.
And it does seem slightly more in proportion with slapping another rider over the head, doesn't it? Now, we also learned this week how to turn off an app. And it's not Control-Alt-Delete. Would you believe? Cycling celebrity Killian Kelly was the one to do the honours, marking this really crap moment, not just in GCN history, but in cycling history, frankly.
While the demise of the GCN app is undoubtedly crap, there's also plenty to celebrate from the last few years. So in a moment, we will be bringing you the very best and worst hacks and bodges, most inspirational photos, and also other cool bits and bobs.
Indeed, we will. We went out with a bang as well. Didn't we? It's fair to say.
Oh, the racing,
with the racing, on GCN Plus's final weekend, we had the return of Mathieu van der Poel, which was insanely impressive. He looks like a rocket ship, doesn't he?
Albeit one with reminded us that he looks like a rocket ship, didn't he?
That's right. Albeit one with the beginnings of a mullet.
I did notice that.
Just a little mullet,
yes. And then we had the World Cup from Namur on Sunday, which was won by a dominant Salin del Carmen Alvarado and a very impressive Tom Pidcock. Although arguably, second-placed woman Puck Pizza impressed more for this display on the podium.
Une dernière fois, s'il vous plaît, vos applaudissements. One more time, a big round of applause, please. For these 3 riders, Lucinda Brown.
How can she win so many bike races and yet still down
It's
a beer?
annoying, isn't it?
Like that,
I guess it just comes down to talent, Si.
Yes.
Now, for many of us at this time of year, winter is starting to grind us down.
Already.
There's a lack of light, isn't there?
Yeah.
Crap weather from minus 25 degrees experienced by lots of vocal Canadians.
Hey, guys.
Hi, guys, yeah, right through to the brutal, bone-chilling, damp cold experienced by others of us.
Yeah, like the really nasty winters.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway, that apparently is known to Canadians as summer, by the way,
Good
damp
point.
cold. Wherever you are, though, it can feel like a bit of a challenge, can't it, to keep riding like we'd usually choose to.
Wet. I'm wet. I'm wetter than a duck. Ooh.
One of which is racking up multiple hours in the saddle.
Yeah, when you think about it, long rides are often a bit crap, aren't they? Firstly, you're too tired to do anything else for the rest of the week.
What? For the rest of the week? How long are you riding for?
No, I'm serious about this. Well, maybe not a whole week, but definitely for the day. If there's any left by the time you get home of daylight, you know that feeling when you get home, you've been out for hours, you're close to blowing up, you're probably a bit dehydrated, legs so sore, you're struggling to walk up or even down the stairs. All you want to do is lie on the sofa, you can't do anything useful or sociable. Any remaining energy is used for the sole purpose of replenishing energy. All you can do is get up to get some food.
Well, that sounds like absolute heaven, then.
Well, except it's not good for your relationships, really. You've got to admit that, haven't
Well,
you?
apart from your riding mates, and you might be lucky enough to have a partner who rides as well, and you can just veg out on the sofa together.
Well, I mean, there's a slim chance. But for everybody else, at best, you get a grumpy husband, wife, boyfriend or girlfriend or partner. And at worst, you get a slow cooling off.
Yeah. We'd just put a film on and then have some quality time together on the sofa. Get a takeaway. No one needs to cook anything. I mean, that sounds like heaven as well.
I disagree. But anyway, it's also bad for your posture. I mean, look at you. Here, Si. Curled up like a soup spoon, aren't he?
Man,
that is a life spent hunched over a bike
well,
right there.
that is true. Although it is fixable with a bit of yoga. Some of your chin-ups, I reckon, as well.
Yeah, but you won't have any energy left to do any chin-ups or pull-ups, will you? Which is probably why you can only do 1.5 pull-ups.
Or 2.5 now. But yeah, I mean, that is a fair point still, isn't it?
Plus, it's expensive.
What's expensive? Chin-ups?
No, doing long rides, isn't it?
Why are long rides expensive?
Because doing long rides with any regularity, particularly in the winter months, it wears your components out twice as fast, doesn't it? So your brake pads, your chain, tyres, shorts, cleats, the list just goes on and on.
Yeah, but like, what's the point in having all that stuff if you're not going to use it and enjoy it?
Are you trying to tell me that a 4-hour ride is twice as good as a 2-hour ride? And therefore it's fine to do twice as much damage to your bike and your components?
Well, I mean, I suppose you have a point there. It's probably not twice as good.
I definitely have a point. I have given this some very serious thought, Si, for this show.
Serious thought that you can justify the fact that you no longer do long rides?
Well, there is partly that, but nevertheless, I have come to the conclusion that more frequent shorter rides give you more pleasure and more satisfaction than longer ones. So to answer your previous point, you get more value out of your biking kit. Frequent short rides?
If you do frequent short rides?
Yeah, and let's face it, long rides, they're just boring. You're not going to be able to convince me otherwise.
No, hang on a minute. I'm not sure you can say that long rides are boring.
I can.
All right, I think you're wrong. Because, compared to the instant gratification of like rapid fire flicking and swiping on social media, like a long ride is comparatively less, gratifying. If I can repeat that word.
A very compelling argument here.
But that's actually why long rides are so good, okay? Because it's like the antithesis of TikTok, isn't it? You need to be out for several hours in order to detox, right? To reach that state of mind where you're just there with your thoughts and the minutes and the hours just tick by.
Really?
Yes, really. You must have had this, right? Like, so back when I was training, maybe 15, sometimes 20 hours a week, I was often asked what I thought about when I was riding. I don't listen to music. I was often on my own. And truth be told, I don't really know what I thought about, but that was the best part. It was enjoyable. I don't think I ever didn't want to go riding. You just go places and you see things.
Yeah. You answered that question about what you thought about the vacant stare.
Yeah, well, basically, yeah. And you get a sense of accomplishment as well that you never, ever get from a short ride. Like short rides, great to ride super fast for like a short period of time.
Yeah, it's a good point. I will add that to my list, Si. Long rides are slow.
Yeah, exactly. Aside from I just did a good interval session or that was a good bunch ride, there was no real long-term memory from
short rides.
No, so I rode the length of a country. That stays with you. I rode 100 miles last weekend. That stays with you. Yeah. I went out on the local bunch ride.
Well, I mean, long, boring events probably do stay with you, don't they? Well, do only short rides apart from a couple of long ones per year then, I think. Job done. That would be a solution for me.
Well, I mean, they would definitely be memorable long rides because you wouldn't be training for them and therefore they would be seared into your memory as like, that really long ride where I completely blew my doors, cried, like you've done in the past, just made it home before dying of thirst and hunger.
Yeah, I'm still convinced that I am right in my argument, even though I know you're convinced in your argument as well. You enjoy long rides. I don't know, I went out to do a 3-hour ride, this is quite a few years back, and I got about an hour through and I thought, I don't think I can tolerate 3 hours. So I kind of turned around there and then I just did just over 2. And it felt long.
But what? Why did you turn around?
Point-to-point rides are easier.
Yeah.
Because you're just trying to get somewhere. Setting out to do a 5-hour ride was always my idea of hell, I think.
Really?
Yeah. I enjoyed it because I knew that was going to make me better. If that was in my training program, I wanted to just tick that box and say I'd done it. But if you just were going out to do a long ride, no intervals or anything, getting halfway through felt like a long way, 2.5 hours, didn't it? You got, I'm halfway through this. I've done 2.5 hours.
Well, yeah, maybe. I mean, what do you lot think out there? Okay, are you a long rider, a slow rider, a bit of slow rider, short rider, a bit of both? Get involved in the comment section. Let us know what you think. Who's right, Dan or me?
Yeah. What do you think when you're halfway through a set of pull-ups? 0.75 of a pull-up in, you're like, oh my goodness, I'm only halfway through.
Well, to be honest with you, mate, when I start, I'm never confident that I'm going to be able to do one. So generally, I feel quite nervous. But I get a small sense of satisfaction after one.
Yeah.
And then And then I sort of think, well, I really hope I can do a bit more this time. And then inevitably there's that sense of disappointment when I can't. So, yeah, I'd rather do a long bike ride than chin-ups, that's for sure.
Okay, well, that debate definitely settled.
Yeah.
And now it's time for cycling shorts.
Cycling shorts now, we're going to start with the news that you have the opportunity to buy some old team bikes.
Yeah, like last year, Jumbo-Visma, or Visma-Lease bike, are selling on a lot of their inventory, which is up for auction over on matchwornshirts.com, which sounds like a football thing, doesn't it?
Doesn't it?
Amongst the bikes on offer are Wout van Aert and Jonas Vingegaard's time trial bikes, plus there's a whole bunch of signed helmets, jerseys and numbers, etc.
Yeah, some of the auctions have already finished. Currently, it's Jonas Vingegaard's Tour de France winning Cervelo S5 that's had the highest winning bid with just over €26,000.
Do you know what? Maybe I should put my Tour de France losing Cervelo S3 up for auction. Bolster the old retirement fund.
Well, that's right. Yeah, you'd probably get enough for a couple of pints, wouldn't you?
Well, with the price of pints these days, yes. And Cervelo S3s.
Well, that's right. To be fair, I mean, I made a video about that bike. That must have done something to its resale value.
Well, yeah,
I really
thanks,
liked
mate.
it. Yeah. Anyway, back to
Thanks for the good review.
That's right. Back to proper pro bikes, though. And some cycling fans seem to be a little bit upset that Quick Step were selling a Mark Cavendish bike despite kicking him to the curb.
Yeah, which seems a little bit oversensitive.
It does,
doesn't it?
doesn't
I
it?
mean,
Yeah.
I think it's better to sell it to someone that wants it rather than keeping it sort of kicking around covered in dust for year upon year.
Exactly, yeah. And that's more disrespectful to just give it away anyway. Although we'd have a great home for it here at GCN, wouldn't we? Really? Right, now moving on, we wanted to make you all aware of a fundraiser that former Science in Sport CEO Stephen Moon is doing to support youngsters racing over in Sierra Leone, in Africa.
It's a relationship that started when he was working with SIS and that he was very passionate to continue. So all the money that is raised by Stephen is going to go to the Luncer Cycling Club in Freetown. We've basically been at the forefront of promoting bike racing for young women and men for several years over there, including organising West Africa's biggest race. That one's called the Tour of Luncer.
Yeah, so anybody who makes a donation will be entered into a draw to win an Ineos Grenadiers jersey signed by the entire 2023 team. So we'll put a link in the description below to the GoFundMe page.
Very good cause by the sounds of it, I would
Yeah.
say. Next up, some news from COP28. I'd say we'd need to get some journalistic credentials to be able to talk about this, but fortunately, people far more qualified than us over at the GCN website have written an article, haven't they?
They have, yeah.
Happy
So
days.
this is from that. To be honest, actually the news from COP28 sounds pretty depressing from a cycling front. Among the 80,000 delegates, the European Cyclist Federation was the only cycling organisation present. Jill Warren, the CEO of the ECF, did, however, say that they can effectively punch above their weight because being a novelty, her words, not ours, means that people are more interested in talking to you.
Ultimately, though, the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, UNFCCC,
Oh, yes. Yeah.
now recognises the role that cycling and active travel must play in a sustainable future.
Well, that does sound good, actually, doesn't it?
I'd say so, yes.
I think so, yeah. Now, a quick heads up to a great little video from our mates over at Orbea. Something a little bit different called Wolfman, and it focuses not on cycling, but actually on conservation and rewilding a chunk of Scotland.
Very interesting. It seems to whet the appetite for a bit of an adventure, that one, doesn't it?
Just a really short adventure.
Sub 2 hours.
presumably. Yeah,
preferably,
okay.
yes. Anyway, check it out.
Yes.
Now, in cycling shorts, though, shorts and jerseys. These two new kits were revealed a little too late to include in yesterday's racing news show. So first up, this is how Israel Premier Tech will look in 2024.
I'd say that's an improvement. I mean, it's not a huge departure from this year's design.
No.
But the colours are brighter and bolder, which I like.
That's your judgment, is it?
It is indeed, yeah. Still a long way from my favourite protein kit.
Oh, what about this one then, from SD Works? This is their 2024 team kit.
Ooh.
Again, not a big departure from this year's design, but given how many people love the current 2023 kit, they didn't really have any reason, did they, to make radical changes to that one?
No, that's a good point, that. I think it was well received again, wasn't it?
You'd have thought so, yes.
Hot from me, unlike the Soudal Quickstep kit, which is a knot, and also it had one of the most cringeworthy launch videos of all
Oh,
time.
you thought it was cringeworthy, did you?
Did you not?
Oh, no, I thought it was great. Anyway, head over to their Instagram page to look at that one if you haven't done so already. We will have our traditional hot or not racing news show in the new year once all the World Tour team kits have been released.
Now, Zwift have just announced a big money event called the Zwift Games. So it's a month-long virtual racing series for both pros and amateurs alike, and there's over $110,000 up for grabs.
There'll be 3 disciplines: sprint, which consists of 3 short back-to-back races, epic, which is an 81-kilometre long race, and climb, which is a race to the top of Alpe du Zwift. Whoa. There are also 5 stages for community races too, and it all takes place at the end of February and beginning of March. But you will need to register by the 26th of January.
Okay, remember that. No entries on the line for the Zwift Games, okay? It is open to all as well, so remember that too. Now, just before we finish with cycling shorts, a reminder too that you've got until the 25th of February to complete the Rouvy 3 Peaks Challenge. So details of that can be found by clicking the link in the description below. But those of you who complete the challenge of the 3 monster climbs, what was it, Grossglockner, Stelvio and Ventoux, will mean that you have a chance to win a smart trainer or indeed free Rouvy subscription. Yes. So well worth doing that, and that'll turbocharge your winter, won't it?
Also, don't forget, unlike Ollie, you don't have to do all 3 of those monster climbs in the same ride.
No, you don't have to do a long ride if you're like Dan and you think that's that. Although
I think the Grossglockner on its own would probably be a long ride for me.
Well, and the Stelvio, which is even bigger, that is a long ride.
I'll give that.
And Ventoux's quite long as well.
Yeah, but you do have to do the whole climb in one ride, do you? You can't just do stages of the climb.
Well, now that I don't know.
Maybe I'll give that a nudge.
I think in the spirit of the challenge, you should maybe do each climb in its entirety in one go.
The spirit of the challenge.
That's right, yeah.
Hack /Bodge of the week. And just to let you know, now that the GCN app has closed, you'll need to upload your hacks and bodges to our uploader, which is upload.globalcyclingnetwork.com. Please give us as many details as possible in the description, and that's how we'll be getting our hacks and bodges from here on in. But to celebrate the app, we've gone back through and we found the 3 biggest bodges, the 3 biggest hacks, and the ones that have been voted on the most since the start.
I'm super fascinated. I've not actually seen these yet, so I'm coming in fresh.
I know you.
I don't know what the top 3s are. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Right then, so in 3rd place, Bridge Raja Garwal.
This is the most voted for one.
Most voted for was Octopus Cycle. Found this basic Indian bike with a custom handlebar, accommodating 9 handlebar positions. How many is too many? Oh my goodness me.
I mean, that is a handlebar setup that usually would be quick to ban, I think.
They would indeed. Is that a handlebar or is it a weapon? Looks like something that you can do some serious damage with.
I mean, maybe that would help relieve the boredom of long rides. You've got so many different hand positions to get into. Unsurprisingly,
shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes.
Unsurprisingly, 78% of people voted that a bodge, only 22% hack.
Well, 22% hack, that's quite a lot, given that that's one of the most voted for things on the app. Yeah, that's amazing. Anyway.
In at number 2, J.K. Walker CMC, bicycle wine rack. In 2007, I competed for and won the title of United States Chef of the Year.
Whoa! How did we miss that?
Sounds a big thing, doesn't it?
Yeah.
With the winnings, I built a Trek 1. When it was time to retire the bike for a new one, my friend turned it into a wine rack for me. Now I will always have the memory of the win.
That is so cool. Look at that.
I think this could be another way to relieve the boredom of long rides.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it'd be interesting sitting on that saddle, but you certainly wouldn't go thirsty, would you, mate?
Yeah, that solution didn't come into your penile numbness video from last weekend, did it?
No, it certainly didn't. I mean, it is angled down, which we established was a good thing. No, I love that a lot. Thanks for sending that one in, J.K. Walker. CMC.
80% of people voted that one a hack.
I'm not surprised. Then number 1, so the most voted for, zip tie hack. I lost my chain link. Zip tie works. You are kidding me. That does not work, surely. That is absolutely bonkers. Fixing it. I mean, it might work with your power, mightn't it?
I've got a feeling, even with my power, I might be able to snap that zip tie.
I think. Well, because many, many years ago, in the dark mists of time at GCN, you did, on my suggestion, try and fix a broken free hub with zip ties.
With multiple zip ties, and I broke all of them.
But you were relatively freshly out of the pro pellet hub at that point.
Well, I wasn't exactly stomping on the pedals like Chris Hoy.
No.
Anyway,
Well, anyway, there you go. Hex 17. Thank you for that
a
one.
lot of. I didn't even see. Actually, I didn't even write down how many hacks and how many people voted hack and bodge on that one. But I can presume it was a bodge.
Yeah, I assume so too. Yeah, brilliant, isn't it?
Right, on to the top 3 biggest bodges then, which are determined by the percentage who vote bodge versus hack.
Okay.
In at number 3, Costiatries. When you can't get enough offset forward but want to get forward. This is using zip ties as genocide. On the bright side of the construction breaks, you would still have a saddle there.
On a canyon air road, no less.
Yeah.
That is absolutely horrific.
I mean, have these people got some extremely strong zip ties for the chain bodge?
I
and the
don't
saddle
know.
break?
That's absolutely bonkers, that one, isn't it?
Anyway, 92% bodge.
There
is the
you
voting
go.
on that one.
Yeah, you were told, Costiatries. Next one, we've got this one from Live to Ride. This is the second biggest bodge of all time. Seen recently in the Pearl District, Portland, Oregon. Did they run out of cable? I can't figure out where anyone would mount their brake on the rear suspension. That is a very good point. What on earth is it doing down there?
No idea. Does seem rather strange. Maybe there is a reason for it.
But then why is the cable going back up towards the handlebars before doing a giant loop round and then coming back like... Maybe it's like a handbrake, like doing handbrake turns. You know what I mean? Like,
Maybe it's the front brake.
yeah.
And the cable's actually just going forwards. Anyway, unsurprisingly, 93% of you thought that one was a bodge, but at number 1, the biggest bodge of all time, Fitterati. Not mine, says Fitterati. This travesty spotted by a mate whilst at work. Surely a contender for 100% bodge.
Oh, look at that.
This also didn't feature in your weekend video, did it?
No, it didn't.
Might work.
Well, it might, yeah. I mean, certainly been no penile numbness with that one, but you might get numb butt cheeks. There you go. So you didn't quite make it, Fitterati, with your 100% bodge, but not bad at 94%.
94%.
That is pretty cool. You won bodge of the decade, basically. Bodge of
Yeah.
ever. You just won the biggest bodge of all time.
Right, should we get on to the hacks?
Let's get on to the hacks.
Because we've
yeah.
got some cracking ones here. So in at number 3, CJS, Chain Wax Link Manipulator. After starting to wax my chains, I had to come up with an easier method of loosening the links. So I screwed 3 jockey wheels from 2 old rear derailleurs to a piece of ply, secured it to a bench, and it works a treat.
I mean, that is amazing. I like the simplicity, I like the ingenuity. I sort of wonder why you need to do that when you can't just put it back on your bike.
Well, I would assume that you would know this because I've never waxed a chain before.
Well, I haven't waxed a chain either,
Have you
unfortunately.
not?
No, I'm too busy recovering
No
from
wonder
long
Ollie won't talk
rides.
to you.
Yeah, well, that's it, yeah. Yeah, I mean, but it's cool. And if 90...
Oh, well, I think the video makes it look quite...
mesmerising.
yeah.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, no, cool. I love that. There's no zip ties involved, so that's a bonus.
No, 94% hack, and it only came in
Whoa.
3rd place.
No way. Okay, Anded 103, Tour de France Toolbox for all maintenance bits and pieces. Let's have a look
I
at
remember this one.
That is
Thing of beauty.
flipping cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
Deservedly 95% hack, that one. Absolutely
That could
amazing.
be sold commercially, but
yeah.
I mean, I think ASO might clamp down on someone using the Latour sign and name.
Yeah, but look at that, Le Tools. I like that.
Oh yes, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah,
It's even
that is-
better.
I reckon you can get that past,
Cracking.
infringements.
Oh, that is brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah, super duper cool.
But anyway, should we have a drum roll for number 1?
Yep.
You've not got much energy left after the long ride. Constantink. DIY bike rack for 1 road bike and 1 gravel bike hanging. Below there are 3 drawers for tools and gear.
No way. Do you know what, right?
It fits in that gap.
I know, and I remember this because I remember commenting on how nice the apartment looked with that, the windows and everything else. But do you know what's the coolest thing about this is I know who that person is now. I met him. This summer, yeah. He was one of the organisers at the Inferno race that I did at the end of August, and he said, "Oh, hello, we had a lovely chat." He's like, "Oh, by the way, yeah, I've submitted a few things for like Hack or Bodge," and that was it. So
One of
Constantine,
the greatest hack of all time.
Constantine, you won. You win absolutely nothing, but still, that's amazing. You should feel very proud of that bike rack. Apparently, he's got like a gazillion bikes in a tiny apartment. He's just got these really ingenious ways of storing them.
Oh wow!
So yeah, send us an update, Constantine, via the uploader, and we'll do an update on the best ever hack on the life of the GCN app.
Fantastic. Well, thank you once again to everyone who has either voted on or actually submitted hacks or bodges to the GCN app over the last few years. We will still continue doing it, of course, using the uploader, but it's been a good ride. Yeah,
it makes you feel slightly sad, but like you say, business as usual next week.
Yeah.
Just keep them coming on the uploader. It's time now for Caption Competition, that part of the show where you get a chance to get your hands on a coveted GCN Elite water bottle. Just put a witty caption in the comment section down below that relates to a photo we'll give you in just 1 second after the results from last week.
This was last week's photo from the podium of the Men's World Cup Cyclocross in Val di Sole. And the winner is at Imilik8. Caption Competition from the Val di Sole Elite Cyclocross World Cup. Welcome to the GCN Show.
Ah, that's a good one, isn't it?
It would have been great, wouldn't it, if they'd submitted that? The crowd in the background.
I know. I mean, that's probably the only possible excuse for doing that on a podium. Have some self-respect. Don't take a selfie when you just won a World Cup. Anyway, that's cool. Well done. Get in touch, Imilik8, and we will get your GCN Elite water bottle sent out to you. In terms of what you can get your teeth stuck into this week, is Tom Pidcock looking disdainfully at a very large Queremont beer.
Yes. Yeah, he's not too keen on beer or wine, as Alex found out in his interview with Tom Pidcock.
Indeed, yeah. You remember what his favourite drink was?
Apple juice?
Apple juice, yeah.
Remembered well.
Yeah.
Anyway, I shall get you started. Tom Pidcock's urine sample shows signs of dehydration.
Be a bit worrying if it was frothy, wouldn't it?
Yes. Well, I mean, that colour would be worrying.
Yeah, it would, yeah. I think probably no wonder he's putting
A lot
that
of it,
face.
though.
Yeah, I mean, that is a bonus.
Can't be that dehydrated with that much.
It's a bit weird that
Anyway.
we're discussing Tom Pidcock's urine samples,
Yes.
isn't it? See if you can do better. If you can, we'll pick a winner next week. And yeah, you get your hands on a GC... Oh, actually, no, it won't be next week, will it? Because next week is Boxing Day.
Oh, yes,
so
pre-recorded. We're not coming in on Boxing Day, are we, this year?
Not this year, no. We just like to come in on Christmas Day, don't we?
Yeah.
So we're going to have a day off on Boxing Day, but it means that you will find out the week after that. What is it?
Time.
The 3rd. No, 2nd of Jan.
2nd of Jan. We are in for that, aren't we?
Yeah, we are.
Can't believe it'll come in on 2nd of Jan. Still be recovering from New Year's Eve. Very shortly, we'll let you know what's coming up on GCN over the next week, but we've picked out some of our favourite comments from the last week's worth of videos. Quite a few people commenting last week under the GCN show about the udder cream. We picked out this one from m.neilsmith6317. As for the udder cream, here in the US at the farm supply stores, there's a product called Bag Balm that is for the same purpose. Farm folks regularly use it on chapped hands and faces as well. Bag Balm, and I'm guessing udder cream as well, is just petroleum jelly and lanolin. When I looked at the ingredients of my chamois cream, 2 of the main ingredients are petroleum jelly and lanolin.
All right. Well, there you go.
Bag
Turns out
Balm.
that cow udders are very similar to undercarriages on
Bags,
humans.
yeah.
So yeah, there you go. Well, thanks for that. I think I'd still rather just get petroleum jelly and Anyway, let's not go there. I don't want to think about cow udders anymore. Mr. Cyclist said, when I got into cycling 40 years ago, I thought I needed Campagnolo Super Record and then Ultegra. Now I ride Shimano 105 and do 12,000 kilometres per year at age 79, and I don't get tired. That puts you to shame, mate, doesn't it? Yeah. But I do need and love my DeRosa Nick. By the way, I rode today in Vaughan, Ontario, 7 degrees centigrade, mostly sunny, and totally dry roads, 0 snow anywhere, and sunny forecast for the next 10 days. Take that, Canadians.
You're getting so many weather updates and comments under the show, aren't we?
That's it, yeah, absolutely.
Meanwhile, Alaire1 put, thanks, Si, for helping me justify the 5 bikes I currently own and the 6 that I would like to get. Whilst Toasty Bear 1 put, this was a top tier GCN show.
Hey.
Down inside, Chain Keepers, and the uploader is back. Watching this made me feel 10 years younger.
That's amazing, yeah. Yeah, true that. I mean, you only have to take one look at me and Dan. You get brought back down to earth with a bump, don't you? But we don't all look 10 years younger, unfortunately.
Underneath the winter cycling video, of course, we had a lot of comments there.
Yeah, we did.
Canadian winters once
Yeah,
again.
I think there were 500 comments under that video, Dan, and 497 of them were from Canadians moaning that my video about winter commuting was not wintry enough.
And the other 3 were Canadians just not moaning.
No, there was one actually very useful comment. Might have been by a Canadian, I don't know. Tramshackle. My tip is to lay out all your clothing and kit, pack your bag, and have your bike ready at the front door the night before. I fetch mine from the shed before bed. Then when you wake in the wintry dark to rain lashing against the windows, it's easier to motivate yourself out onto the road. And then I was right. It's never as bad as you think once you're out.
Well, that's true.
I think that's a really good tip, actually, because then you can't back out.
No.
Because your bike's there waiting by the front door.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah, I like that. So thanks, Tramshackle. I'm going to take that on.
Underneath Runner versus Cyclist, the ultimate uphill battle. Greg Settle, but having watched Average Joe's run next to pro cyclists in the Alps on the Tour de France, I was pretty certain of the outcome of this race. As always, another great fun video. Whilst Travis Stay put drunken Average Joe's with a bottle of beer in one hand.
That's right. Yeah, Connor had no chance, did he, basically?
No.
Because he ain't no Tadej Pogacar. Not anymore, anyway, is he?
No.
Just let it slip a bit. Then on Is This America's Best Gravel Ride? On to play, he said, I love the clashing personalities of Ollie and Hank. Ollie is the total opposite of Hank's wild card attitude, yet both are adventurous. Would you say Ollie Bridgewood's adventurous? No, just one of them is adventurous, I think. And then Gay...
Not that I am either, just to...
Yeah, I was going to say,
yeah.
Gabri PLC said, 6 minutes in and Ollie already offered to wee into Hank's mouth. You got to love GCN. Yeah. I mean, it was a weird moment in that video, I'm not going to lie. But anyway.
Right, should we let them know what's coming up on the channel this week?
Well, why not? Christmas week, innit?
It is. So on Wednesday, we are going to show you a whole host of hidden Strava features.
Yeah.
I love hidden features.
Yeah.
I've been learning about keyboard shortcuts recently. I mean, I already knew quite a few, but I've got some belters recently.
Coming up on GCN in the new year, keyboard shortcuts from Dan.
For Mac.
GCN's ultimate adventurous.
No, but I do love a hidden feature.
Yeah.
You know, something like, how did I not know about that until now?
There's a really good one about you can find out what number person you
I knew
are
that
on
one.
Strava.
I think you told me that
I
a few
told
weeks
you
ago.
that, yeah. It's
I
pretty
can't
good,
remember
that.
which one of us was the first to join Strava.
Oh, I can't remember, actually. Do you want to...
No, it might take too long to do that. On Thursday,
I'll tell you next week.
Epic Climbs Episode 3. This time it's up Alpe d'Huez.
On Friday, we have got the results from Killian Kelly versus Andrew Feather on Zwift Academy. We have got Average Man versus Superman, who came out on top, basically. I have a feeling it's Killian, actually. I just feel like Andrew Feather, having seen him try and ride on a flat road, might have struggled.
He's not feeling it.
Indoors, yeah. So anyway, we'll find out. On Saturday, Hank somehow, against all health and safety regulations, managed to get into basically Europe's fastest recumbent bicycle and ride as fast as he could. So make sure you check that one out. And then on Sunday, I was lucky enough to compare vintage Campagnolo against brand spanking new Campagnolo. Ultimate vintage versus modern. So what are the differences? What are the performance differences between those two? Super cool, that one.
I look forward to watching that. Well, since we no longer have to tell you what's coming up on GCN Plus in terms of racing or documentary, I have got time to tell you who joined Strava earlier.
Oh, go on.
So you joined Strava earlier. You are member number 269,248, and I am 336,288.
But you were the one that was smart enough to upload your entire data archive from 2009.
My GPS files.
Yeah, and so still have more KOMs than me.
I haven't looked at that.
Well, I mean, I can pretty much
Is that a
guarantee.
hidden feature?
Yeah, well, that's it.
Comparison.
And before we go, you might have been admiring my natty blue logo.
Oh yeah, turn around.
It's part of my whole jumper.
Look at that graphic.
Woohoo!
I mean, couldn't do the GCN bit with you.
Do you know it's not even creased this week?
It showed it better when you had your spoon posture going.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
It's very easy to get the spoon back.
There we go. Nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
Shop.globalcyclingnetwork.com.
Also, sorry, just in case, big shout out as well to Caden's Cat for our GCN Voodoo dolls. Not entirely sure why Connor is. Who's that? Is he a
Connor.
cartoon character? I don't know. But Dan is Superman.
Yes.
So I'm not entirely sure
you're
how
mini me.
I'm a mini me. What was that about? Ollie's Captain America. Basically, look at this. What? I think me and Connor have done worst out of this. Look at that. Hulk. Who's that?
Hank the
Xena
Hulk.
Warrior Princess, maybe?
Yeah, well, thank you to Cadence Cat for these anyway. And if you can give an explanation as to why size only mini-me and not some sort of superhero, we'd love to hear it in the comments.
Yeah.